TGIF, everyone. It is the Friday evening edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. We've had a pretty busy afternoon across the Mahoning and Shenango valleys with a few rounds of showers and storms. Yesterday, I told you that today was likely to be a more active day than yesterday. Yesterday's activity was real isolated. Today, more backyards got a drink of water, a needed drink of water. It's been pretty dry around here lately. Let's look at a 6-hour radar loop. And I slowed this down. Things are winding down pretty quickly as of this recording at 7:11 this evening. But we've had some gully washers out there and some vivid lightning shows and even some minor flooding concerns when we look at the rainfall totals over the last 24 hours. A couple of hot spots here. One with our cluster that moved southward through Columbiana County earlier on from Columbiana to Lisbon. Radar estimates here up to 2 inches. That might be a little high, but I think a lot of places saw at least an inch worth of rain down in north-central parts of Columbiana County. The other hot spot is actually where the Weather Service hoisted a flood warning. This is actually in effect for a couple of hours this evening for the northwestern corner of Trumbull County, including Mesopotamia. And radar estimates up here are on the order of 2+ inches. This might be contaminated by the fact that there was probably some hail mixed in. But at least 1.5 inches, 2 inches, I think, was pretty common once you get up towards the Ashtabula-Trumbull County line in northwestern parts of Trumbull County. So that's why the Weather Service did hoist that flood warning. It replaced the flood advisory that they had out for the same area earlier on. All of this is spinning around an area of low pressure that we've been talking about all week. It's a cut-off low pressure system, cut off from the main jet stream. There's very little wind to push this thing along and push these individual storms along. The winds from the ground level where we are up to as high as 20,000 feet, those winds are under 20 miles per hour for the most part. So there's very little steering currents. That's why these things are kind of just drifting. And thankfully, as we're starting to lose the heating of the day, we're going to see things wind down pretty quickly. All right, last evening I told you about the Starlink satellite chain, the possibility of seeing it last evening. It was kind of a bust last evening because of clouds. I'm hoping we can do somewhat better this evening. This is a little later than last evening. At 11:11 this evening in the northwest sky, this chain of satellites will appear and will be visible for about 5 minutes, disappearing in the west sky. It'll all depend on the clouds and how quickly they will clear out this evening. But in case you missed this last evening, the Starlink satellites are a fleet of satellites put in orbit by SpaceX for the purpose of providing high-speed internet access to parts of the globe in the coming years. All right. We have a season change this week, and of course, meteorological summer has been in effect for a few weeks now, but the summer solstice, the start of astronomical summer, it's the one you're going to find on your calendar. That is tomorrow evening, 5:43 p.m., sunrise tomorrow, 5:50, 8:58 the sunset. Longest day of the year, daylight-wise. We lose a second of daylight by Sunday. All right, on our trip around the sun, this is kind of generally where we are right now. This doesn't tell you much, though. Of course, the seasons are all about not our proximity to the sun, but rather the tilt of the Earth relative to its axis. The vernal equinox, the start of spring, 3 months ago. That's when the sun's direct rays are over the equator. And as we get into the summer solstice, of course, the sun's most direct rays are aimed at the northern hemisphere. Specifically, the sun is right overhead at the Tropic of Cancer. Our maximum solar elevation will be 72 degrees above the horizon, but over that Tropic of Cancer, it's just about 90 degrees above the horizon. Very little shadows at solar noon over the Tropic of Cancer. And, of course, starting Sunday and taking us through December 21st, the sun will start getting a little lower in the sky. And it's a very, very gradual process at first. But, yes, the days will, in fact, start getting shorter here before you know it. Winter solstice, December 21st. Of course, the sun's direct rays are over the Tropic of Capricorn in the southern hemisphere, and we have our shortest daylight in the northern hemisphere. All right, weekend is not going to be as active as today, especially tomorrow. Most of tomorrow will be just fine. Watch for a little fog tomorrow morning. Might be some fog trying to set up, especially in areas that had a pretty good dose of rain this afternoon. Might be something to watch out for Saturday morning. But raindrops Saturday afternoon, there's not much of a trigger. That upper low is pushing to the east. And I kind of suspect that most of the day will be rain-free. Perhaps a better chance of getting wet towards Sunday evening, Father's Day. Shower and thunderstorm possibility. It's going to be probably fairly hit or miss, but probably higher odds than during the day tomorrow. And then that front kind of washes out, and it's just going to be a hot and humid Monday. maybe there's a shower or a thunderstorm, but Monday's rain chances should be lower than Sunday. So if I had to rank the next 3 days for rain chances, highest chances are probably Sunday, and then Saturday and Monday, everything is very, very hit or miss. Most of the day will be rain-free. Dew points will be a story for the coming days. We're going to be steamy through the day on Tuesday, but then some relief from the dew points should come during the second half of next week. NOAA put out their initial July outlook today, and temperature-wise, from coast to coast, odds are favoring a warmer-than-average July, with the highest odds of a warmer-than-average month in the Intermountain West and across parts of New England as well. And I do think we have pretty good odds here of seeing a warmer-than-average July. Now, the precipitation outlook, this is a tougher bet. There's not a real strong signal either way for us. I do think that the generally dry pattern that we've been in will break some in the coming days, but then beyond that, I don't see it. I don't see a wet pattern evolving, whether it's abnormally dry or flirting with a drought or anything like that. That remains to be seen, but it doesn't look especially wet to me as we go into July. Speaking of the coming days and weeks, now, this cool down that's coming towards the middle of next week comes with some relief from the dew points, and it comes with temperatures just kind of backing off to the upper 70s to around 80 for a few days. That may be the last kind of pronounced cool down or cooling trend that we're going to see for some time. The European temperatures compared to average here, European model, starting next weekend, which is the last weekend of June, and taking us right through the 4th of July. Boy, that's a hot-looking weather map with all the cool anomalies bottled up across the Pacific Northwest and the Northern Rockies. So it's like a steamy pattern ending June and taking us into July. Not going to be surprised if we have some 90-degree days coming up, especially as we flip the calendar over into July. That'll do it for me tonight. Thanks for watching Weather for Weather Geeks. Hope you have a great Friday night, a great weekend, and I will see you back here on Monday.